Hi everybody, and welcome to Spotlight. I'm Mayor Johnston, and I'm here with City Manager Greg Veliz. And we realized that it's been quite a while since we've been back here on a Spotlight, so we wanted to update you on a number of things that are going on in the city of Key West right now. And I'm going to start off with the COVID-19 numbers before Greg gets into a little bit about what's open, what's not open, what the requirements are to be open. But right now, the city of Key West is at 44 positive cases of the COVID-19. And we actually had a very good May. We held very steady. We had 39 to 40 positive cases throughout the month of May. And then yesterday and the day before yesterday, we had 3 more positive cases. So we are certainly watching those closely. We opened up, as you all know, the informational checkpoint came down on June 1st, which basically opened us up for business. So Greg and I are keeping our eyes on the numbers very closely to make sure that we are still holding steady. So with that, I'm going to turn you back over to Greg to let you know what's open in Key West.
Right, and I'm going to try to navigate through what's open and what's not open. Right now, most of everything is open. Restaurants have been open for quite some time. They're open to 50% in the interior areas of restaurants and up to 100% in the exterior type situations. Bars are open. They're open once again to 100% if it's an outdoor bar and 50% if it's inside. Seating is recommended. Seating is recommended, and you must be seated to be served. So there are a lot of things open. We're slowly getting Key West back open. We want to recommend that everyone use personal responsibility when you do go out. There are mask requirements that are in place, and we require that you wear masks into establishments. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's a great segue into this, because I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about masks. And masks, as Greg said, are a requirement in the city of Key West when you cannot social distance. And that's whether you can't social distance outside or inside or anywhere. If you cannot stay 6 feet away from the person that you do not live with or do not know very well, then you can't social distance. So please put on a facial covering. We've made it very easy. You can use basically anything to cover your nose and your mouth. But please, mask up in the city of Key West. We have done very well since March. Our numbers have stayed low. We've been able to keep the hospital, the check-ins low, so they've been able to handle any case that they've gotten. But now that the checkpoint is open and we are welcoming in more visitors every single day, I think we're just a little bit more vulnerable. So please, every employee is supposed to be in a mask. If you're in a restaurant, please, when they're walking in the door, have a mask on. If you cannot social distance, please have a mask on. When you're walking into a retail operation, have a mask on. The people that do not have to have a mask on are according to the CDC guidelines, and that's anybody with a medical condition that would prohibit you from wearing a mask. Second of all, anyone under the age of 2 should not wear a mask. But other than that, everybody else should take that precautionary measure. You know, it's a sign of respect for every single person that lives in Key West or any person that we welcome into our community. So please, be responsible and wear a mask. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Greg.
Well, as you know, at the last City Commission meeting, we approved the fireworks display on the 4th of July. It was not without a great deal of consideration and a great deal of thought that we actually broached the subject and came to the decision of having the fireworks. Now, this is Key West, and every time we open the doors to Key West, there is a crowd because we are Key West, and we don't anticipate that the fireworks are going to be any less than that. Once again, as I spoke before, I think if you are at risk, if you are living with someone at risk, then you need to take that into consideration when you put yourself in a situation like that. The fireworks are going to be crowded. We have more than enough coastline to accommodate everyone, and the island is flat enough that you can see the fireworks from virtually anywhere. And we've moved forward thinking, you know, this is the first step in our road back to normalcy. And we want to encourage everyone to come out. We want to stay far away as you feel comfortable and keep your distance from others. But we are going to have the fireworks, and we're pretty excited about it, and I think it's going to be a good time for Key West.
And one of the things that Greg mentioned the other night at our city commission meeting was that we're getting a lot of questions about Fantasy Fest and other large events that we normally host in the city of Key West. And I think Greg mentioned it at the meeting, but this will be our canary in the mine shaft. This will let us know if we can handle larger groups in the city of Key West. So a lot is going to depend on how we're able to act on the 4th of July. We want everybody to come out and enjoy it, but again, as Greg said, take personal responsibility. And talking about how things are changing just a little bit, for the last several city commission meetings, we have held them virtually. In fact, the guy behind the camera right now helped us do that very, very adeptly. So we're going to have our first live city commission meeting on July 21st. So we will be in chambers. If we could turn this camera around, we could show you that we have one chair every 6 feet. We're getting some dividers in between the city commissioners as we set up on the dais, so we'll have protective measures. We're going to have protective sleeves over our microphones. So on July 21st, we'd like to welcome you back to our first live meeting, and thank you for hanging in there while we had our virtual meetings. We had a lot of business to get done, and you were all very adaptable. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Greg for some good news here.
Well, I think the common thread that has gone throughout this entire show is that things are getting back to normal. We're starting to move back into pre-COVID world, and while we may never get there again to total normalcy, I think it's time to start picking up things and dusting them off. And one of the things that we have been working on, although it has been moving quite slowly, has been the College Road Affordable Housing Project. We got some good news yesterday. We had quite a bit of remediation that we had to do, and a lot of some soil testing and soil cleaning that had to go on, much more than we had anticipated. But it is back on track now. The Housing Authority now has it out for bid, so we hope to have a contractor on board pretty quickly, and then you'll start seeing some things go up, and I think that's going to be an exciting time. Yeah. It's going to address a need in Key West that we've had for quite some time, and I think you can now start looking forward to us doing some things that were moving forward when this whole thing hit, and now it's time to pick them up, dust them off, and get them moving again.
Yeah. So with that, we would like to close and just remind you of a couple things. We have a beautiful, wonderful community, and we're trying to walk a very delicate balance here in City Hall, bringing back and stabilizing our economy and also keeping you healthy. And it's going to take each and every one of us to do that, so please. We've got protective measures out there in place. Please abide by them. We're in a very, very interesting time in our reopening, and we would certainly like to stay reopened. We would like to keep our employees safe and healthy so they can continue to earn back some of those funds that we lost out on in those first 2 months of our quarantine. So please do the right things. It's out of respect. We can start rebuilding back our economy and stabilizing it, as well as keeping everybody healthy. So please do the right things. Thank you.
As the mayor said, we have been extremely successful in keeping our levels low, and that's due 100% to the citizens of Key West and Monroe County. And please continue. It's up to us to stay safe and to keep each other safe. So with that, we'll sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you.